What's going on, guys? It's Greg here today, and today we're going to be going over the Team Deathmatch guide for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2. If you're new to Call of Duty, and if you don't already know, Team Deathmatch is one of the most popular game modes because it's very simple. All you have to do is eliminate the enemy players, and whoever gets the most kills within the score limit or time limit will win the game. So today I'm going to break down Team Deathmatch for you guys, and we're going to go into some gameplay examples with some clips. We're going to break them down so you guys can better understand the decision making that goes on in my mind. So hopefully this video will help you out, and let's get right into it. So starting off, we're going to go over the chapters of this commentary, and we're going to start off with the Team Deathmatch basics. Then we're going to move into the minimap. We're going to go into angles. We're going to go into the useful equipment and field upgrades, what the best perks are, as well as what killstreaks I will recommend to you. And then we'll go into some gameplay examples. Let's talk about the basics of Team Deathmatch. In Modern Warfare 2, the first team to reach 100 kills will win the game. If no team reaches 100 kills, then the team that has the most kills will win upon the time limit, which is currently set to 10 minutes. As for the mindset that you should have when playing Team Deathmatch, think of this as a militarized version of chess. You should be actively seeking out your opponents while also utilizing cover and angles to your advantage. If you're new to Call of Duty and you're not really sure how the minimap works, don't worry, I got you covered because we have a guide located in the description below. However, the reason you want to use the minimap in Team Deathmatch to your advantage is because it's going to help you predict where enemies can be located, as well as going to help you rotate around the map and make decisions based off your current teammates' locations. When a UAV is active, you'll see gunfire and non-ghosted users on the minimap. I highly recommend you do not blind chase a red dot on a minimap. Instead, position yourself for the best advantage against the player as you engage them. As you can see there in our little minimap example, you can see the little red dots. Those are the enemies on the minimap when a UAV has scanned them. Moving on to the angles. Angles are going to allow you to reduce the amount of lines of sight to your current location. What I mean by this is there's going to be less ways that more enemies can be engaging you, which means that they're going to have to funnel towards you. And whenever they have to funnel towards you, that means you can pick them off one by one. This is going to result in less unnecessary deaths, allowing you to survive longer. As we can see here on the minimap, I have it marked that the UAV has revealed some locations of the enemies on the minimap. Therefore, based off of where they're currently located, I can predict that is most likely where the enemies are currently spawning until we flush them out. As you can also see that there are a lot of teammates surrounding me, so I know that they're not going to be to my right, to my left, or behind me based off of my current team's location, and especially because we had that UAV to help us let us know where the enemies are. So I know they're going to be spawning dead ahead where I'm looking, as well as to the back left. So the best thing here is I have marked for you guys these red dots so you can better understand where the enemies can currently peek me from. So, as you can see, directly where I'm aiming, an enemy could peek me from there because that is a little spawn pocket back there and they could push through that building to try to engage me. They could also come from the left, as for my teammate is pushed up against the wall on the inner side, and if they were to somehow be flanking through and he didn't notice them, then that way I would be able to see those enemies are going to come to the left and I could quickly snap onto them to take them out if needed. On top of that, the blue dots are going to denote where my teammates are most likely going to be able to have cover from based off of their current location on the minimap. So this means that my teammates are going to be watching these spots, or at least what I would hope they would be watching. Again, you cannot always trust your teammates to be doing things, especially if you're not communicating with them, but there is some nonverbal communication based off of the direction they are facing and where they are positioned on the minimap that you should be actively thinking, what angles are my teammates watching, so that way I shouldn't be wasting my time trying to engage these spots. Let's go ahead into some equipment and field upgrades. So, for our equipment, defense equipment is very useful because it's going to allow you to cut off routes and hold down an area. Offensive equipment is also very important as well because it's going to help you get defensive players out of positions. So, for our defense equipment, I highly recommend you run a claymore or a proximity mine, as it's going to help you have map control because you can cut off certain areas of the map where people are most likely going to be coming from. And if you don't trust a teammate to watch a certain angle, you could place it there to cut that off, so it's one less angle you have to worry about. Now, as for some offensive equipment, Semtex is really good because it has some good reach and it's going to stick to a surface that it connects to. So if you know someone's behind a piece of cover, you could throw it behind that cover and try to arc it there, and it will stick right behind that, causing them to have to run away or else they're going to die. Drill charge is also good for people that you know are behind walls because you could just go ahead and lob this thing at that wall and it's going to go ahead right through and give them a nasty surprise. Next we have our field upgrades, and I think that there are two very important categories that we should be looking at here. Defensive field upgrades are going to allow us to fortify positions and give information. Offensive field upgrades are going to allow for stealth and survivability. I would pick one of each so that way you have some extra versatility on the map because you want to be changing gears as you're playing the game mode. Sometimes you're going to have to play a little bit more defensive and other times you're going to have to play a little bit more aggressive. Therefore, having both is going to give you the best of both worlds. For defense field upgrades, I'm going to highly recommend you run a munitions box because that way you can get ammo and equipment from it. Also, running the portable radar is very useful because it's going to scan area that you throw it at, and it is going to show any enemies that are nearby not running the ghost perk. As for our offensive equipment, Dead Silence is a great choice because it's going to temporarily silence our footsteps, and it is also worth noting that whenever you get a kill with your gun or throwing knife, you'll actually go ahead and reset the counter on Dead Silence, allowing you to keep it active for even longer. Another really good offensive field upgrade is going to be Battle Rage. Battle Rage is really good because it constantly refreshes your tactical sprint, as well as it's going to give you quick fix during its time that's active. Basically, it acts as like a stim shot and quick fix combined to one, so you'll be regenerating health very fast. This is a very great aggressive tool, but just remember your footsteps will be heard while you're using this. As for our perks, we're going to go over some of the best base, bonus, and ultimate perks you guys can run for Team Deathmatch. So as for our base perks, I would highly recommend Double Time, Bomb Squad, or Tracker, and the reason I highly recommend this is for a few reasons. Double Time is going to allow you to get to places on the map a lot faster because you'll have double duration of your tactical sprint, which means you can get to positions faster than some people that are not running this perk. Bomb Squad is also very useful because explosives are going to be heavy, and everybody spawns in with their lethal and tactical, so having a little bit of resistance against lethal grenades and claymores and all that kind of stuff is very important. Also, Tracker is very useful, not so much because of the footprints, but because it hides death skulls. And people that are playing solo are most likely not going to be communicating with their team, therefore, they'll really have to be paying attention to where their teammates are located, as well as where their teammates are dying. Because they will not be able to see a death skull on their screen, you'll likely go unnoticed. Bonus perks, we're going to have fast hands because fast hands you just can't go wrong with. You're going to use equipment faster, you're going to reload faster, and you're going to swap your weapons faster. On top of that, Hardline is another really great bonus perk because it's going to reduce the cost of your kill streaks by 1, or if you're running score streaks, which I'd highly recommend for Team Deathmatch considering it gives you the proper amount of score to where it wouldn't be actually more expensive. You'll get 125 score less off of a kill streak, so therefore it's basically 1 kill. As for ultimate perks, Quick Fix is very good because after you kill an enemy, it's going to instantly start your health regeneration, allowing you to survive a lot longer. And the Bird's Eye perk is also a very good perk because it's going to zoom out the minimap, and it's also going to show non-ghosted users that are pinging on the UAV as a directional indicator, almost like it's an advanced UAV. However, keep in mind this is not an advanced UAV, it is just something that buffs the normal UAV. Let's go ahead and talk about kill streaks because kill streaks are very important, and while you can run whatever kill streaks you want, I'm going to go over just 5 kill streaks here that I think you could never go wrong with depending on what you're playing. So the UAV is going to help us reveal enemy locations. The counter UAV is going to block enemy UAVs as well as advanced UAVs, or if you just want to use it so the enemies can't see where their teammates are positioned, go ahead and call it in. The sentry gun allows you to fortify an area of the map that basically you can have an extra teammate essentially watching that lane, so sentry gun is pretty good depending on the map. I would highly recommend it for indoor maps like Embassy or Crown Raceway. The VTOL jet is also a very good kill streak coming in at 8 kills because it's going to hover in the air and actively engage enemies as they walk close. And the chopper gunner is probably one of the best kill streaks for Team Deathmatch, especially if you get very good at using it. You can easily get about 10 kills per use, if not a little bit more, if you are getting efficient with it, and it's going to give you a significant advantage in winning the game in Team Deathmatch. Let's take a look at some gameplay examples now. So here we are on the map Mercado, and I'm going to go ahead and engage this guy with a very close angle so that way I'm able to take him out. I'm instantly going to go ahead and lay down because it's a common spot where people are going to be funneling through, and therefore I don't want to be standing because I just killed a guy there and they're probably going to expect that. So I'm going to lay down, get a cheeky kill, and I'm going to go ahead and push over this way. Because as we can see where our teammates are positioned, they're still going to be in front of the area where we just came from. So I'm going to go ahead and go on a little flank real quick because I want to make sure that there's nobody flanking us. I go ahead and take this player out, and now they call up a counter UAV, which generally spawns in the middle of the map. I look up, take it out, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to push forward. Right here I'm waiting because I did see a guy pinged on the UAV, and right now I'm trying to actively engage these guys. One of them heard me in there, so he's going to go ahead and look for me, and I take him out, and I'm going to go ahead and continue to run away. I reposition, and they freshly spawn in behind me, as we can see on the UAV, so I'm going to go ahead and play on top of this vehicle because I'm on an off angle, it's going to be harder for them to predict me. I'm going to keep trying to engage my enemy, so right here I'm just sweeping some angles as I come up. This guy sees me, and I'm going to go ahead and slide to cover, and I'm going to take him out, earning my VTOL jet. As we can see here now, I do remember there was a guy that was pinged there on the UAV, but he actually moved, and now they're spawning in the area I just was because of where my teammates are located. Therefore, I'm going to go ahead and look in this area and try to pick some angles and see if I can get some picks. These guys have already moved around, so I'm not really sure when they're going to engage me or if they're going to be pushing out this way. It seems like since there really hasn't been much going on, I'm going to go ahead and call in a VTOL, and as we can see, they're definitely flanking around the back of the map. So I'm going to go ahead and start pushing up. One of them spots me, however, so I'm going to go ahead and hug this little RV, and I'm going to try to pick this guy off. Now, the M16 is not very accurate for picking people off of head glitches. It's really good for just dumping people that are not really on cover. So I'm going to go ahead and dolphin dive to this car because he was not waiting there, and I'm going to go ahead and push up a little bit more. Again, dolphin diving out of the way of any sort of people that might have a line of sight on me. Come up to this vehicle, I watch the back real quick because I know he can only come from the left or through this little cutway that is in this area. I'm going to go ahead and pop down a motion sensor, and I see he's in here, and I go ahead and take him out with my sidearm. Now I'm just kind of waiting because I know there's still going to be people back here, and as I'm sweeping some angles, I go ahead and notice this guy's up here, and I take him out. I get my chopper gunner, and now it's pretty much just playing my life, see if I can get a nuke or if I just die. So I went ahead and I slid to this cover because the reason I slid to that cover is I didn't want them to be able to see me running to get to a better spot on that head glitch. Rather, they can't see me if I go ahead and slide to cover. I'm going ahead and rotating around the map. My friend is here, he takes out a guy, and I'm going to go ahead and as he kills another player, I still see they're spawning back there, so I told him I was going to watch his back, and he could go ahead and flood them out from that little cutway. As I'm here, I'm still keeping narrow angles, and I end up taking this guy out through a dead body. Unfortunate for that guy. Anyways, that's pretty much all for this clip, so let's go ahead and get into another clip. So here we are on Crown Raceway. I really like this map, but anyways, I take out this guy right here, and I'm going to go ahead and push up because, as you can see, one of my teammates is pushed up even further. However, I did not know there was a guy in the middle of the map who cut through, and he ends up taking me out. I'm going to go ahead and respawn, and I'm going to try to see where my teammates are at right now as I'm respawning, and I'm going to try to take out enemies based off of where I think they would come from. As you can see, some of them are starting to run flanks over here because there's no teammates over this way, so it's a good idea for me to watch it. I end up picking up a triple kill, and now I'm going to go ahead on a more of a back flank. I was trying to listen for some sound to see if anyone was blind rushing this after I took some enemies out, because generally people in this game think you're going to play super passive and you're going to stick to one area. However, that's not always a good idea, and if you stay on the move, you'll stay alive a lot longer. So right here, I'm just waiting for the UAV to sweep, see if anyone was going to push me or whatnot, and I take out a player. Now I'm just sweeping some extra angles based off of where the UAV is pinging, and I'm trying to take a look where these enemies are going to be. As you can see right here, I'm still scanning and still making sure that I'm safe, and now I'm going to go ahead and push up towards the middle of the map. Once I get to the middle of the map, I notice there's a decoy going off to my left, so I'm not going to let that bamboozle me. I'm going to go ahead and watch this area, although this isn't really good for the M16's current range. So I'm going to go ahead and try to push up so I can close the gap so it's a little bit easier for me to one-burst my enemies, which effectively has one of the best time to kills in the entire game. As we can see, all the enemies are funneling inside, so I'm going to go ahead and take cover behind this desk here, and I'm going to go ahead and throw a stun because they might also be trying to flank us at the same time. And they do. I take this guy out, and now I have to go ahead and focus on this guy who is also still in that hallway that I stunned earlier. So now I have my VTOL jet, and I'm going to go ahead and try to see which way that these guys are peeking based off of the map. Now I see that there was still another guy on the outside, so I go ahead and take him out, place down a munitions box, that way I can earn a stun and Semtex back. I'm going to go ahead and call my VTOL jet because there's teammates pushed up, and that means they're going to have my back for the time being. If they die, the enemies are going to have to flood me out, and therefore I have some time to call my VTOL. As you can see, this guy was on the flank over here. A little bit of a hard angle to kill them from. Teammate did not win his gunfight, but don't worry, I was there to get his trade. Unfortunately, I couldn't throw my stun through there, so that was just bad. little try there on throwing the stun, but you live and you learn. Go ahead and throw a Semtex, so that way if there's a guy there, he'll go ahead and get picked off, and now I'm going to go ahead and continue to push up and flanking around the back. Again, we're always checking angles, and we're always trying to see where people are lurking, and as you can see right here, go ahead and get a nice little snap on somebody as I continue to push up the map. So, the reason I'm hopping around is because in this game, if you're out in the open, it's not very good for cover, because obviously there is none. So I'm trying to hop around, just throw off my enemies a little bit, and it also gives you a little bit of peeker's advantage, but just know that this has been heavily nerfed in Modern Warfare 2 because you lose aim down sight speed whenever you're hopping around, so you have to do it with some sort of plan in mind. Doing it just to do it is actually going to get you killed way more than it will actually help you. So, maybe your playstyle is a little bit more aggressive and you're not really somebody who likes the whole let's be super tactical and try to have the best positioning and awareness for every single gunfight. Well, don't worry, I got you covered too. In this match, these guys were playing really defensive, so I really wanted to get a little bit aggressive on them because I noticed that the reaction times weren't really the greatest, and that's probably the reason that they were playing super slow. So I went ahead and pulled out an AK-74U, which is a great aggressive gun because it has a decent sprint to fire time as well as an ADS time. And as you can see right here, I'm using jumps and hops in order to make my aggression a little bit easier. If you're going to go ahead and just blind sprint around corners and you're not going to effectively use jumping or some sort of proning, then you're likely just going to be an easy target to be picked off. Dead Silence is also a great field upgrade to be running whenever you're trying to be aggressive because it's going to allow you to run up on people that aren't going to be able to hear your footsteps, which as a result is going to give you the drop on them. As you can see right here, I'm rotating around based off of where the UAV is pinging, and I'm going to go ahead and take out these unsuspecting players. Now, another thing is that just remember that bunny hopping in this game has been nerfed and it is not the most effective way to engage your enemies. The reason for this is because they have nerfed the aim down sight time on it, so if you're going to want to bunny hop, you're going to have to sacrifice range on your weapons and you're going to have to build your guns in a way so that way you have the advantage of the close quarter gunfight, and you're going to have to stick to close quarters. You're always got to be on the move. You're going to have to be being aggressive, also running dead silence and stuff, so that way your footsteps aren't being heard. On top of that, what do you do when you don't have dead silence? Because without dead silence, you just can't freely run around the map and try to pick off enemies that are just trying to listen for footsteps. Well, the thing I'm going to highly recommend you guys do is just play a little bit of angles and rotate around the map just with a little bit of caution. Obviously, you want to be playing cover and you want to be just rotating smart based off of your teammates' positioning and watching that by the time you get around the map, your dead silence will most likely be recharged, especially if you mix in a couple kills, and then you can go ahead and continue to freely rotating around the map. So, hopefully this little guide here today has helped you guys out in improving at Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Team Deathmatch. I'll be uploading gameplay of Team Deathmatch throughout the year as I get a lot of gameplay because, well, I like to play Call of Duty and I play it often. So we'll go ahead and we'll make sure I break down more stuff, and I will also be bringing you guys gameplay breakdowns where I give you full-length matches and I will try to break them down based off of, well, just exactly what is going on in my mind in those given scenarios, like today. But I have a little bit more plans for editing, and as I brush up on my editing skills, I would like to add some pauses as well as maybe mark up some things on the screen because I think it would be a great way to help you guys understand what is exactly going on at all times. So I'm going to keep looking for ways to improve these guides, and I hope you guys will also, of course, enjoy them. Subscribe to the channel if you're new, and drop me a rating to let me know how I'm doing. Anyways, hopefully you guys have a great day, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out.